Hi, this is Casting On, and I'm Alex Capshaw-Taylor of Worldknits. In this lesson, we will learn how to work the backwards loop cast on. This is a cast on that you'll use if you're casting on stitches within your project. For example, for a buttonhole, or if you're casting on stitches for the underarm of a garment, this is the cast on that you'll use. This is not a cast on that you want to use to start a project because it'll create a pretty inelastic and uneven cast on edge. So again, just use this one when you're casting on within a project for a small number of stitches. For this example, I've gone ahead and created a swatch of stockinette stitch fabric, and we're going to pretend that we're creating buttonholes here along this fabric. So what I'm going to do is work a couple stitches in. And to create a buttonhole, what you would end up doing is binding off stitches for your buttonhole. So I'm going to bind off 3 stitches, and then you'll use that backwards loop cast on to cast on the same number of stitches that you bound off on the following row. So I'm going to just work down this again. I'll do another one here. Again, I'm binding off 3 stitches. Okay, and we'll just work to the end. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be casting on those stitches. So I'm going to work to my gap. All right, and here I am at my gap. And now I need to cast on the same number of stitches that I bound off. So I'm going to use that backwards loop cast on. And what I'm going to do is stick my thumb over top of my working yarn and wrap the yarn around my thumb, and with my right hand needle I'm going to go into that loop that was created on my thumb, and I'm going to pull that new stitch tightly onto my right hand needle. So again, over top of the yarn, around, and with my right hand needle I'm going to go into that loop on my thumb and pull it tightly onto my knitting needle. So this is a super easy cast on, which is why I'm sure many of you like me learned this as your first cast on, but it is a terrible cast on to start a project with. I can't recount to you the number of times that I was so frustrated casting on with this when I was a new knitter, starting a project and it just looking terribly and not understanding why. And it's because as you do this cast on, the longer you do it, the more uneven your stitches get, and by the end of working that cast on, I would end up with a string like this between the last 2 stitches on my needle. So don't use this to start your projects. Okay, so we're at our next buttonhole here, and what I'm going to do again is put my thumb over top of my working yarn, wrap the working yarn around my thumb, insert my right hand needle into that loop on my thumb, and pull that stitch taut onto my knitting needle. So over top and around, my right hand needle into that loop and pull it taut onto my right hand needle. Okay, and I'm going to work to the end. Go. Okay, and now let's turn our work and check out our buttonholes. All right, so I'm going to work to my first cast on stitches. Okay, and here they are. So you can see I already have kind of a large loop here. What you're going to do is work these stitches to try and even out that loop. And it's almost like you're working a make one stitch where it's twisted, that fabric is, or yarn is twisted around on your needle. Oops. There we go. I'm going to work to the next one, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, and here we are at our next buttonhole. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, so here was our bound off stitches, here are our cast on stitches, and now we have 2 buttonholes. So this has been Casting On, and I'm Alex Capshaw-Taylor of Worldknits. Happy knitting!